Welcome back. The Russian Defense Ministry said that military drills have reportedly ended in Crimea. Russia's Defense Ministry released a video on Wednesday which reportedly shows Russian military vehicles leaving Crimea. The vehicles moved out of Crimea after exercises had reportedly ended on the peninsula. Now, despite reports of Russian troop pullbacks, Ukraine continued military drills dubbed the Snowstorm 2022 exercises near its border with Belarus. President Zelensky of Ukraine has dismissed the Russian withdrawal claims, noting the lack of evidence of a pullback. Similarly, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken warned that Russia could stage a range of false flag attacks to justify invasion into Ukraine.
Russia plans to manufacture a pretext for its attack. This could be a violent event that Russia will blame on Ukraine, or an outrageous accusation that Russia will level against the Ukrainian government. We don't know exactly the form it will take. It could be a fabricated so-called terrorist bombing inside Russia, the invented discovery of a mass grave, a staged drone strike against civilians, or a fake, even a real attack using chemical weapons.
Will not present here baseless accusations saying that Russia allegedly was going to attack Ukraine. I think we've had enough speculation on that, including the Security Council meeting on the 31st of January convened by the United States. We have long ago clarified everything and explained everything, and the announced date of the so-called invasion is behind us, so therefore my advice to you is not present yourself in an awkward situation. I thank you for your attention.
Meanwhile, oil prices remain high in the midst of heightened tensions between Russia and Ukraine. On Thursday, the 17th of February, Brent crude oil futures price settled at $92.97 per barrel. A few days before that, it was at $96.48 per barrel. To discuss more on Russia-Ukraine tensions, its impact on economies and markets, and also how it could influence the foreign policies of other countries such as China, we are joined by Professor Ari Kuncoro, the rector of the University of Indonesia. Hi, Prof. Ari, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, Prof. Before I ask you the first question, I'm going to roll you a clip of Indonesia's President Joko Widodo, his statements, his thoughts on Ukraine's tension in the latest G20 FMCBG meeting. Let's take a look at what he said.
Bukan saatnya untuk rivalitas. Bukan saatnya untuk membuat ketegangan baru yang mengganggu pemulihan dunia. Apalagi yang membahayakan keselamatan dunia. Sebagaimana yang terjadi di Ukraina saat ini. Saat ini semua pihak harus menghentikan rivalitas dan ketegangan. Kita harus fokus untuk bersinergi, untuk berkolaborasi, menyelamatkan dan membangkitkan dunia tempat kita hidup untuk segera bangkit kembali, pulih kembali.
Right, Prof. Ari, so as you can see there, Indonesia's President Joko Widodo asking for calm amid these tensions, and he's saying everyone should focus on global economic recovery. So potentially, what kind of impact will this have on global economic recovery? Is it going to have a significant impact, the Russia and Ukraine tensions?
I think that's the point. Yeah, the world is still reeling from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the recovery will depend a lot on energy price, because if too much spent by the household on energy, then what remaining in their budget will not be sufficient to buy other things. And the recovery in many parts of the world actually depends very much on consumption spending. That is the point actually addressed by the president. And right now, I think if we look at the price of oil, the increase of price from the $80 per barrel to right now around 92 is actually geopolitical premium rates. because what what I saw yesterday is that there is a build-up of the inventory, but it failed to derail the oil price rally. But when we heard the news about some pull-out from Russian troops from the Ukrainian border, then the market reacted. So from 96 US dollar per barrel for West Texas Intermediate, WTI, now the price is around 92. Yeah. That is the good news. But the downside is that the rhetoric continues. Every side accused the other side. For example, the U.S. accused that the withdrawal of the troop is merely the troop rotation. Well, at the same time, Russia also said that that the prediction of the Western intelligence about the day of the invasion, actually the February the 16th, when in fact at that time Russia put out some of the troops. So the rhetoric will continue, and that will mark the situation is still tense. Yeah? Right. And I think right now, looking back at the good news and bad news, I think this is the first time we saw some de-escalation. I think the China has a point that probably this is the time to tone down the rhetoric, because the stakes are high for both sides. For both sides, especially the Europe, very dependent on Russia natural gas and oil, and Russia also depend on the European market for many its products.
Okay, Prof. Now, as you were saying just now, the markets are reacting quite quickly to what is happening. After Russia reported, they said there was a pullback in troops. Oil prices had dropped from 96, now it's 92. But as you said, there's still a war of words. Russia is saying they're pulling back. The U.S. says, oh no, it's fake. You are not pulling back. So in the next few days, how do you see the price of oil reacting all this? Are we going to see price of oil increasing again? Or is it going to be some uncertainty? Well, what's going to happen in the next few days?
The attitude of the market will be wait and see, right? Because what we are not sure is actually how the rhetoric will be toned down by both sides. Because right now, the risk premium actually what has been working behind the rally of the oil price. But I think Russia has some sign of, okay, I'm going to pull a little bit, but how about you show from the other side that you should give us the same. And this is actually very tricky, because what Russia wants is actually that Ukraine should not be admitted into NATO. That is the position of the Russia. And of course, the Western alliance, I think they don't want to say that openly, because it is the right of every country to join NATO, right? Yeah, this is the critical point. And I think what is important in the next very week is actually behind the screen talk. Yeah. Backdoor channel. If you watch the movie, that actually the backdoor channel probably is sometimes more important than what we saw in the media. Yeah? But my guess that there will be some easing of the tension. But of course, the oil price will not go back to 80 US dollar per barrel for now. Okay. Although some agency, Citigroup, if not I'm mistaken, say that the optimal price for the oil should be around 65. Okay. That's come from the underlying factor of the supply and demand.
Right. So you're projecting that there's some sort of back channel talks, and you're saying there could be an easing of tensions in the days or weeks to come. Now, this situation not only affecting oil prices, but also stock markets, financial markets as well. So in your opinion, what should investors do right now in the few days to come?
Yeah, it's fantastic. From your previous session, actually we saw that in many Asian countries, the stock price actually in the red zone. But Indonesia all in the green zone. So it tells us that investors actually moving money from the area that they consider as quote unquote little bit dangerous out, going into the safer country. So my interpretation of this, but we have to be careful because we don't have data that long enough, is that money flowing into Indonesia right now. I think you in previous section, you show that capital inflow in Indonesia, or I don't remember the number, but
yeah.
it's flowing.
Foreign net buy, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and it happened at the time when we are about to face the U.S. tapering. It's very interesting, right?
Right.
So we have not seen what we have been worrying so far about that the money will be flowing out from Indonesia. But the stock markets will go down. The price of bond also go down. No, that is not happening at all. So this is something interesting, that actually the money flowing not back to U.S., but flowing among the country that they consider as the emerging countries. This is the new phenomena, I guess. And we have to be careful, because it is hot money anyway, right? Because they can be flowing into one country in one day, and then the following day they'll be leaving.
Got it. Very interesting. As you said, despite all these tensions, the Indonesian stock market keeps on breaking records. And as you said, there could be large amounts of capital inflow coming to Indonesia because people are scared of what's happening, in other countries outside of Indonesia. I also want to talk to you about another issue, which is what this could affect the foreign policies of other countries. As we know, Russia and China are very close allies, and China has also kind of a similar stance in terms of sort of reclaiming territory, for example, in terms of Taiwan. So do you think, from your expert point of view, this will affect China's foreign policy in the near future? They could employ the same tactics, for example, on, quote unquote, maybe taking back Taiwan or something of that nature.
Yeah. Outwardly, I think that China is leaning toward Russia. From the statement that the U.S. should not provoke the situation is already bad enough. But if we compare China and Russia, actually China is more integrated with the rest of the world compared to Russia. Russia, I think the main commodity is oil and gas, while China is manufacturing. The supply chain goes back andward from China to Asia, like Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, even the US, and as well as goes to Europe. So they will be very, very careful. They want to stay above the fray, but openly they will say that, okay, I know, but let's give Russia a chance, something like that. Yeah? And regarding with the Taiwan, I think this is comparing directly China and Taiwan with Russia and Ukraine. I think that is a little bit overstretched. Okay. It's different. It's different.
Right.
Ukraine has the same root of history as Russia, as well as China. But the reason is very, very different.
Right, Prof. So
Ukraine, I think Ukraine, Russia very afraid that Ukraine will join NATO with the security reason.
Right.
While Taiwan, I think it's mostly is about considered as the province of the China right now. Yeah, right or wrong. This is the China view, but it is very different. I think China is more pragmatic.
Okay, Prof. So just very quickly, we have run out of time, but just very quickly. So if tensions do escalate, in your projection, you don't think that will influence China to kind of take similar aggressive measures in the Asian region, and that will not destabilize, sort of security in Asia if tensions in Russia and Ukraine escalate? That will not translate to China and Asia as well. That's what you're saying?
I don't think so. Because right now, the impact of Russia and Ukraine tension actually is on energy price. And China actually the next importer of energy right now. They don't want the price of energy too high. Because if you have oil price too high, then it will have ramifications, which will have a spillover on other commodities. For example, coal, natural gas. So that, I think China want to avoid that.
Okay.
Of course, they don't want to be very low price. They just want to fair price. I think that is the China policy. What is the best for the China actually is for the Russia and Ukraine can come back to the status quo situation.
Right. Right. Okay.
Regarding the issue of China and Taiwan, that is different. That is different.
Okay, Prof.
A lot of high stake for China if they want to impose what has been Russia done to Ukraine.
Okay, Prof. So everyone is, of course, hoping for tensions to ease in the days or weeks to come. And as you said, you're projecting the back-channel talks are successful and you're seeing some easing of tensions. So let's hope that's what happens. Professor Ari Kuncoro, rector of the University of Indonesia, thank you so much for joining us on Jakarta Movers and Shakers.
Thank you.
And after the break,